Hello, everyone. You are listening to Oops Spoilers. This is a Those Other Girls media production. This is a podcast where we talk about movies, TV shows, books, popular, unpopular, whatever we want to talk about, and we give our opinion. We give a TLG score, we review it, and it's full of spoilers. So if you don't like spoilers, this is not the podcast for you. Okay. This episode of Oops Spoilers is brought to you by American Woman Beauty. Join the beauty revolution. American Woman Beauty has makeup for the free thinking woman. They have a myriad of makeup palettes, mascaras, soaps, candles, whatever you can think of. That's beauty. They probably have it. You can use the code MAL15 to get 15% off. All right, everybody. So today's episode is reviewing the movie Look Both Ways. It is a Netflix movie. It's gonna be obvious how I feel. You can probably hear it in my voice. But that's what we're gonna be doing. So watch out because oops, spoilers. Okay, so first I'm going to read the plot summary and then I'll just go over the movie and then we'll give it the score. So here's a summary. On the eve from IMBD. On the eve of her college graduation, Natalie's life diverges into two parallel realities. One in which she becomes pregnant and remains in her hometown to raise her child, and another in which she moves to LA to pursue her dream career. So, when I first saw the trailer for this, I was like, ooh, this looks fun. I'm actually a huge fan of Lily Reinhart's acting. Her as a person, I don't really know. I don't really follow her. I kind of sort of have stopped following celebrities. There's a few male celebrities I still follow, but female celebrities I don't really follow that many. So I don't really follow her on Instagram or anything, but um I cannot stop thinking about that flower dress she wore to the Met Gala. I want to say it's like 2 or 3 years now. But she looked stunning. Absolutely stunning. It was beautiful. 10 out of 10. Loved it. So honestly, from that moment on, I've loved her. I also um watched Riverdale. First season, fabulous, 10 out of 10. It's gone downhill from then, but I am still keeping up with it. And we're definitely going to do an episode recapping this last season. Um, so yeah, so when I saw that, I was like, okay, this, let's give this a go. I was interested also too because I wasn't sure the direction they were going to take Look Both Ways because in today's climate, with everything going on, I wasn't sure how they would the direction this would go in. Also, too, I know Lily Reinhart is definitely I know where she leans politically, so I just wasn't sure. I was pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly surprised. Okay, so the movie starts off with her and her or I'm sorry, they're not her and her friend, which I really don't understand. Like I've just never been attracted to any of my friends, so I don't really understand like this concept of yeah, I don't get it. All my male friends were just friends. I do have a friend from college that I kind of but we never would have said oh, we're just for I don't know. It's so I still don't really understand this concept. So Lily Reinhart, her name is Natalie in the movie, and her friend's name is Gabe. So Natalie and Gabe, there we get to see a glimpse to their friendship. They both are very different. He's in a band. She wants to be an animation for Pixar. She has all these big dreams, 5-year plan and everything, and he's kind of willy nilly, oh, I'll do whatever, blah blah blah. It is what it is. That's more of Gabe. So they end up hooking up, which I think also too another example of why hookup culture is not good. Um so they end up hooking up and a couple months or a couple weeks later there is a party and there is a party with that he's at and she's at. and Natalie is with her best friend, who is played by Aisha D. Her name is Kara. And what's so like Aisha D, she also was oh gosh, what was her character's name? She was on the Bold Type. She played Kat. How could I forget that? She played Kat from the Bold Type. And apparently, looking at this Wikipedia, it says that she was also on the Saddle Club. I don't know if you guys ever read those books, but Aisha, she is her best friend. So Aisha comes in, brings her Tums, and then brings her two pregnancy tests. So she takes a pregnancy test, and this is where the parallel worlds start to like go off. So one of the worlds, she is not pregnant. She takes a shot. She's like, okay, whew, I'm not pregnant. Yay, whoopee, here we go. Another world, she takes the shot. I'm sorry, she checks, and it turns out she is pregnant. And she goes to tell Gabe, who is once again not her boyfriend, just her friend. And, he reacts shocked, surprised, probably how it would have happened either. Like, that's probably a natural. If you are an unplanned pregnancy, I think it's okay if you're an unplanned pregnancy to be shocked. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think that that's just how it is. Um and then he's like, you know what? I'll help you. Like, I'm in this. We did this. Let's do it. So they go to her parents' house. Her dad is played by Luke, not Luke Combs, Luke Wilson. So, kind of funny, I guess. And, they have this crazy thing, like the mom and dad, they're like, oh, you guys are together, blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of funny. They're little moments. And then they step outside, and then Gabe is talking to her, and he starts to get down on a knee, and then they come back and they're like, oh, nope, nope, nope. But he wants to. I really like and respect that he wanted to step up. Um, he wanted to be a father. He wanted a family because honestly, like, let's take a minute to reward that because that is what a man is supposed to do. You get a girl pregnant. Um, you have now bound yourself to that person for at the minimum 18 years. So if you guys have, if there's no abuse or anything, try it out. Try it out. That's just how I see it. You're many situations, but I think it's kind of simple. You already have done a step toward making a family, and making a family is a good thing. Okay. Well, she rejects it because she said she wants to marry someone she's in love with. And he's like, yeah, me too. Obviously, he's in love with her, which I think is so funny. And I think that's the thing that I find very interesting. Like, um, they're best friends, but they're in love with each other. Like, I don't understand that concept. Like, if I was in love with my best friend, I feel like I would, and I could tell he liked me too. I feel like I would just tell him. I don't know. Like, I've never, once again, like, I have tons of guy friends, but I've never felt like in love with one. Anyway, um and I was also oh, I put down in my notes put on my notes that I can't I can't relate to not wanting to be with him. Yeah, cuz he's like super cute. Gabe is his name. So, that's the she was pregnant path. She has to move back in with her parents, and Gabe kind of sort of moves back into. Now, she's not pregnant path. She ends up going to LA, which is her dream. She and Kara. So obviously because she's pregnant, she can't go to LA with Kara. So that turned a little bit differently for Kara. But she goes to LA with Kara when she's not pregnant down that path. And they go and they find this little small house and it's kind of rinky dink, but they're like, hey, we're young, we graduated college, like, let's do this dang thing. And she's kind of having a hard time finding a job. Kara already has a job. So Kara goes to her job first day. And remember, she's in animation. So she learned 3D and 2D animation. That's going to be important soon. Um, so she's like, yeah, like, this is my So she's like, I'm in LA. I don't know what to do. So Kara's like, well, how about you go, like, pretty much stalk the company you're gonna work for, the CEO. So she goes to this, like, dinner party thing where the CEO was supposed to be there, but the CEO does not turn out to be there. But that's okay because she has a meet cute with this guy named Jake. And turns out Jake actually works in a different department in that company. But one thing I want to talk about really quick is that the dress that she's wearing, cannot stop thinking about it. It is like pink on top with a big bow and then red. And I cannot find pictures of her in that dress on the internet. But I did find that dress. And someone told me you could rent it from another place. It is literally the cutest dress I've ever seen in my entire life. It makes me so happy seeing it. I do not know why more people are not talking about that dress. But the dress she wears, it is the dress that she wears to the party where she has to meet cute with Jake. So, they're like flirting and everything, and then she ends up getting a call back. I believe it's the call back from the company that she wants, and when she's there, she sees Jake. And Jake yes, I'm sorry, she does get the call back because Jake says something like, "Yeah, well, I saw your resume and I just moved it to the top." And she's like, "Oh, thank you." And then she's wearing like a blazer, which obviously I think you should wear a blazer to an interview. And he's like, "You don't have to, you're not in real estate. Ladies, it's better to be overdressed than underdressed. Wear that blazer." Also, too, blazers turn almost anything you wear into something semi-professional. That's just a fashion tip. You're welcome. It was for free. Okay. So now she has not quite her dream job, which I love. I love that she did not start off because there's a lot of times in these movies and these shows, people start off, they move to LA and then they run into like Steven Spielberg and now they're like Steven Spielberg's best friend and they're in like 16 different movies. But I love how she kind of got a job that isn't really necessarily what she wants, but it's her foot is in the door. She's trying. And she meets so she and Jake start like dating, start being boyfriend and girlfriend. And it's all cute and they're a cute couple. And she's living a life. She's in LA. She is, not in her dream job. She's not necessarily in her dream house, but she's doing it. She's surviving. So then let's switch over to the timeline where she has the baby. So she has the baby, and it's hard and like it's kind of frustrating at some moments, but she has the baby. She's a smooth delivery, and Gabe is there, and he's a good boy. I keep want to say boyfriend. He's a good father of the baby. I don't like saying baby daddy. It's kind of weird. He's a good father of the baby. He is doing his part. He is trying to help. There was a moment she had the baby and her mom cut her hair because she was feeling gross and some of the postpartum, some of the feelings that women get that because of all the hormones and everything that's happened, your body has changed. You're a completely different person. That's the reality. After you have a baby, you're a completely different person. So, you know, her mom cuts her hair and she's like, "Oh gosh, it's a mom cut. I hate that I have a mom cut." And then it's the whole scene where the dad's like, "I think you look great." It's so funny. It reminded me of my dad. Like, I can be upset about something and he like look over to like it was almost like he looked over at the mom like, "Okay, are we pro this? Okay, we're pro this. This looks good. Yeah, it looks good." It was just so funny. It reminded me of something um that my dad would have done. So Gabe comforts her, says she's beautiful, all these things. And it's great. Like they have I thought they have really good chemistry. Honestly, Lily Reinhart is a really good actress because I thought she had good chemistry with Gabe and good chemistry with Jake. Personally, I only watched one review of the movie and it was like 6 minutes and it was so I don't know if other people thought that she had good chemistry, but I thought she did. I thought she had good chemistry with both. Um, and eventually Gabe wants Natalie to move in and the baby to move in with him. And she's like, "What? Why would we move in?" And he's like, so we can live together because we are a family." And she's like, I can't ruin our relationship." I can't ruin our relationship. And he's like, what? She's like, I can't ruin our relationship because it'll hurt the baby, blah blah blah. So then he's like, okay, if this is what you want, I will move on. So, and it's clear that that's not what she wants. And I just don't. Life is so short, you guys. If you want to be with someone, let them know. If they reject you, that hurts, that sucks. But you should at least let them know if you want to be with someone. If there is someone you want to be with, let them know. Okay, that's enough on that part. So back to the other life. So everything seems to be going, I don't want to say good because she wasn't living her dream, but she didn't seem super unhappy. She wanted to do more. She was still drawing. Um she was still uh working on characters and things like that. Well, Jake ends up having to move for his work 6 months to, like, not Budapest, maybe Budapest, Helsinki, some country out of the way. So he ends up moving, having to move, and that was really hard. Like, long distance has to be, like, that type of long distance at this age has to be so hard. So he has to move for 6 months, and they're trying to make it work. They're trying to make it work, and it just doesn't seem to work. She even also too at her work, she puts herself out there and shows her boss her drawings and like some of her art concepts and like characters she's made. And her boss basically says, you're a fraud. Like, everything I'm looking at is like a copy of tons of other people. This isn't original. Like, you're lame, you're whack, boo, blah. That's essentially like what her boss says to her. So that's um disappointing. So that is on the side of no baby living in LA. The side of with the baby living in LA. So eventually Gabe brings home a girl to a to a cookout for the baby's birthday. Um and he brings the girl. Natalie's visibly upset, but she has to smile and be happy because that's the thing too. She told him, go out, meet people, be happy. So she has to do that. Well, um, she does that. I'm trying to think of what else. What else? What else? Um, um, I wrote these words. I love how it seemed fun, but we know it wasn't completely fun. I have no idea what that's referring to. But if you can think of what that's referring to, then like leave a comment, let me know, message me. I can't even. I definitely will watch the movie again. You guys will hear why in a little bit. So I'm not quite sure what part that was in the movie, but so eventually, Natalie tries to go out and enjoy her life, and it just feels like she can't. So she starts back drawing again. She creates a character based off of her daughter, which I love. I love that it I love that her daughter was her motivation. I think that's so. I mean, if you're listening to That Person Degrees, which you should, which is another Those Are the Girls media production, um, a lot of times when you have unplanned pregnancies, your child becomes your motivation to do so many other things. I was listening to one of the episodes, and both the host and the guest were both saying that their grades were the best that semester that they were pregnant. They were so focused. They realized that their life, everything they did from now on was to make sure that their child was set. Mothers are very selfless. Fathers are as well, but we're just talking about mothers right now. But that's just such a very selfless, and I guess it just kind of clicks when it happens, when you realize, like, okay, this is the circumstance, this is what's happening. All right, here we go. So anyway, so she starts doing the drawing. Okay, so she also goes to visit her friend in LA. And while she's there, she's like, okay, cool. This is, wow, my life is so different. I'm so glad to be able to leave where I am. Um, just to get some time to be with my friend because they're best friends. Like, the girl was there for her Kara was there for her the entire time. Well, Natalie gets a call from her daughter, saying that she doesn't know where her father is, and that the babysitter, some girl, um, that he doesn't know, that she doesn't know, is babysitting her, and the father left her with this other girl, and you know how that. So she's like freaking out, and she has to leave. Well, her friend is frustrated, but that's the reality situation, like, and that's hard. Like, yeah, it's hard. Her friend left her, so Natalie left, and her friend's, sad because she took the week off to be with Natalie, and then Natalie now has to go back to check on her child. Turns out it was a huge nothing burger, and Gabe proposed to his girlfriend. So now Gabe is getting married. So that's going on that side. She comes home and she's crying because it's obvious she still loves him. So a couple more weeks pass, and she and her friend Kara, this is still on the have the baby side. Kara comes down from LA, and they go. I want to just talk about this for 5 seconds because this is like low key my worst nightmare. So she goes back. Oh, I'm sorry. This is not. Rewind. Kara and Natalie from LA, they go back. And by the time that they go back for their friend's baby shower, by the time they come back from from for their friend's baby shower, Natalie has lost her job, and she no longer has a boyfriend, and she's just kind of floating by in life. And that is literally my worst fear of going to see friends and literally just floating by, and we're talking about all their accomplishments, and I'm just like, well, I woke up this morning, like, that's my worst fear. Um, thank God I can list some accomplishments now. But there was a time where I was just kind of like, and I will say, like, grew up in Christian Southern area, so like, not being married is kind of like not a good thing. Most everybody that I graduated with has been married, is married, so it's just kind of like, Anyway, so that was just really awkward, and I felt for her. Like, I felt the cringe, I felt the uncomfortableness. Um, so that motivated her to enter this contest. So we're wrapping it up. That motivated her to enter this contest. And at the same time, in the timeline, that motivated the other Natalie that had the baby to enter a contest. They enter the same contest, but one of them is for 3D animation, the other is for 2D animation, which I love because at the beginning they mentioned how she went to school for both, and she ended up using at different timelines she used different skills. And then, long story short, um, she ends up with Gabe Gabe ends up not getting married to that girl, and they end up together, which made me so happy. And then the Natalie that went to LA, Jake comes back to see her animation, and he apologizes and says he wants to be with her, and she ends up with Jake in another one. And I just love this movie. This movie gets a 4. I have not given a 4 to any movie so far that we've done. This one gets a 4. Let me tell you why. It is a great message, especially in today's climate where the reality is you can make two really decent choices, and you can have like two different lives, and one not necessarily be better than the other. And it's okay. And I think, like, when we think about, especially when it comes to the boys, we have Tinder and all that stuff, so we can we're swiping. Okay, we never know if, like, is this going to be my soulmate? Is this the right person? Is this the right person? We don't. Who you end up with can be that person. The Natalie that went to LA should be with Jake. The Natalie that was pregnant by Gabe should be with Gabe. That is just how life is. Like, we're making things bigger than they are, and I loved this movie. I recommend it. Once again, I just think it has such a great message. The message is life can work out. Does not matter which choice you make. It can work out. And you just keep going, keep working, and like, in my personal life, I'm having to make some decisions, and this was just, I really love this movie. This was really for me. If you guys liked it, let me know. I have to end this really quickly because my battery's about to die. If you liked it, let me know. Maybe we can even talk about this a little bit later. I think it'd be fun to talk about it on Those Are the Girls, the podcast, as well. If you liked it, let me know. Leave comments. So yeah, thanks guys. Bye.